Well, of course, it is synonymous, isn't it? It's the Can, and we've got Michael back online now. Michael, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm a magician, illusionist, so I disappear and reappear very quickly.
That was part of the radio. See, I always believed that radio was television for imagination.
Exactly. We have Michael here, and Lee's gone.
So you've just done it. You've just done it for me.
I'm actually in Paris now. You'll have to use your imagination. I'm right next to the Eiffel Tower.
Right, I've got the imagination there, yes. Well, see, in the old days of radio, and you're far too young to remember this, but in the old days, we used to have radio plays being done in a studio, and they'd create all of this atmosphere.
That's right. They had all the special effects.
Yeah.
I see them. I'm always fascinated when you see those shows on TV and they have all the special effects and the sound effects that they would have, and they were doing a radio serial. How amazing!
Oh, it was. Tell me, what's involved in bringing a show such as this to Melbourne?
We are bringing we're bringing Paris to Melbourne. So Cabaret de Paris uses every element that is in any of the cabaret shows that you see over there. The famous shows like Moulin Rouge or Crazy Horse or Le Lido are famous for having, of course, the gorgeous topless showgirls and incredible variety acts. And one of the stars of the show that we have, Marissa, she worked at the Moulin Rouge for 20 years. She was the lead in the show, and she hosts the show as well as sings in it. She's absolutely amazing to watch on stage. So it is a big effort in bringing the best dancers. The dancers have all worked in Lido and Moulin Rouge, and every element. So we're trying to make it as authentic as what you would see if you went to Paris.
Michael, I think I read somewhere that she had some sort of a record in that performance.
Well, that's right. She's the longest-serving star to work there. She did every show. She never missed a show, and she's the same here. We have an understudy that she always says, you know what, you'll never get on stage. And true to her word, she's never missed a show, Marissa. She's a true professional, and I always say there's something that money can't buy. It's experience of being on stage twice a night for 20 years, and watching her on stage is absolutely amazing, because that's where you see the perfection. And also having the most beautiful women around her, and then she had to have that extra edge, that extra jus that made her stand out, and she really does.
Well, of course, I was playing the Can there as you were coming back on air with us. You're doing the Can, of course, well, you're not, but the girls are, and give some great entertainment. Everyone loves the Can.
They do. We close our first half of the show with the Can, and it is the most amazing peak. It's full of high energy, and we've got a twist to it. We have a modern twist to ours.
Have you?
But we still use the traditional elements, which of course the girls are kicking their legs up, and they actually have to turn their head the opposite way, or they would kick themselves in the head literally. That's how flexible these girls are. It's the traditional way. The leg goes up so high. You see the girls swing their head right away from their leg, otherwise they're going to get kicked in the face. And of course the traditional tricks like the jump splits and all the leg mounts, which are synonymous with any can. But we do have boys in it as well.
Right.
And the boys they not only provide something for the ladies as well, but they do a lot of the acrobatic tricks in it as well. So they're doing flips and all kinds of things that are amazing to watch. So we roll everything into that can, and it is such a great routine.
Well, you've got a pretty big job, because you're not only producer, but you're going to be the illusionist too on the night, aren't you? One of the illusionists.
I am the illusionist on the night, and it's difficult to wear all of the hats, part of the pun, when we work in a showgirl show. There are lots of hats in the show. But yes, my first and foremost job is the illusionist, and that's how I started out in this business, and I always call it my daytime job. I love being an illusionist.
Do you?
I love performing on stage, and I can't let that go. But in this Paris show, we only have a sprinkle of magic, and it's again traditional with French revue shows. It's not a magic show, but a front-of-curtain guest act, and it's something that you don't expect, and the audience really loves it. It gets such a great reaction, because when you're seeing magic live, and they're fantastic state-of-the-art illusions that are coming from Las Vegas, when you see that live, it really does have that wow factor. Michael,
it was your grandfather taught you magic, wasn't it?
That's right. My grandfather was an illusionist, and when I was a young child, when I was 8 years old, when I found out he was a magician, he was my hero, and every weekend I'd go visit my grandfather, and he had the old trunk with all the tricks in it, the rings and the scarves and all the floating balls. And as a child, I just fell in love with the art. And when he saw that I had a passion for it, he started to take me under his wing and teach me the art of magic. So that's where I learned it. But the illusions that I'm doing now are much more sophisticated than
I bet.
the handkerchief tricks that he taught me. It's still the same craft, what he taught me, the same skills, just on a much, much bigger
scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bigger scale.
Because at 13, you joined the Young Magicians Magic School, didn't you?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there was actually a magician school, kind of like Hogwarts, called the Young Magicians, and it was there that we honed our skills, mainly in showmanship. So we already had the magic there, and the trick with magic isn't the actual effect. There's a secret behind it, a secret technology that you've got to learn and a lot of practice. But in any magic trick, the secret is in showmanship. It's the presentation. It's how you present that trick with music and with patter, with lighting, with costume, with, of course, the gorgeous dancers and all that stuff that makes the magic really happen. So I actually learned all those skills in the Young Magicians, and also was around people my own age who were also interested in this fascinating art of magic. So it was a great time.
So do you share your stories and share your acts?
Oh, absolutely, and I'm one now. I'm particularly with young magicians that are coming. I always encourage them. I have them work backstage, which they love in a burlesque show, as you can imagine. But mainly just showing them. I like them to see every aspect of the art and encourage them to go along that path, because I want magic to obviously evolve and to continue into the future as it still has. It's one of the oldest art forms, and it is amazing in this day and age where you walk into a supermarket and you get your shopping and they swipe this thing. It says Cabaret beans, 99 cents, and we don't blink an eyelid, but that is probably more magical than any of the tricks I do.
There you are.
So the real art in magic is showing people, and displaying, something beyond that.
It's lovely you do that. When you left school, high school, I think you went out on the road. You were doing, 3 shows a day? So you must have had your heart set on this as a career.
Absolutely. As soon as I left high school, my first official job was working with a female magician. There was one, and we toured all the schools, and I actually got cut up in 3 pieces. So, when the girls get in the box and they say, they've been bruised, I say, hang on, I started out like that, so I know exactly how it feels. So I have both sides of it. Being a male assistant for a female magician was absolutely fascinating and the best job to have when you first left school. All my friends were so jealous.
They would be. Absolutely. I can totally understand that. And then I read about your big break. You got that TV show. You appeared on Pot Luck, wasn't it? Yeah.
I did actually do Pot Luck. I've done a few TV shows.
Yeah.
Pot Luck I did when I was 15, 16, and that was the old show with Bernard King.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And it was a great concept, and it was the first TV show I'd ever done, and I was so nervous going on it. And I was amazed at the end that they actually won my heat and went on to the semi-finals. So it really spurred me on then to do shows like Young Talent Time and a whole lot of other things. So it was a great time again when I was a teenager to be around all those variety shows. Years and years later, I risked everything again and went on Australia's Got Talent.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes. But you were in the finals, weren't you?
I did. Look, and it was, again, I think going back into it when I was much more established was probably one of the scariest moves or things that I've ever done as an entertainer. In any of our shows, we're in front of a curtain.
Yeah.
We do our act, the applause happens and the curtain drops. We don't get to hear the critique of the judge, or we don't get to hear what the audience really thought of our act. We just assume that they enjoyed it with the applause. But here, you're under a microscope and they could really say, tacky old hat magic, magic, and we've seen it all before, or they can say we loved it. And I was just so lucky. I really pushed the envelope with what I did, and they loved it. And like I said, it was one of the most exciting times of my life.
Yeah.
Very, very scary. I put everything under the thing. I could have lost, and had some bad comments, and you live with them the rest of your life.
Well, I remember seeing you on the show. I remember seeing that, and a great act. Very, very good. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty slick. I was pretty happy with it, and all the judges loved it. Dawn French was a particular fan, and a lovely, lovely person to work with, as were all of the other judges and the hostess, Julia Morris. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Julia Morris, yes. Okay, we'll move on. She's over in Africa somewhere now. It's magic. She's over there now.
She gets around.
Yeah, my word. Now, you're in Melbourne at the Athenaeum, March the 9th. That's Friday, March the 9th. And the 10th, you've got 2 performances there, one at 2 o'clock and one in the evening at 7:30.
That's right.
Yep. It's
just noting, though, that 2 p.m. show,
yes,
we do a covered version of the show. So if you have children or younger ones that want to see the show,
right,
or you're not particularly interested in seeing topless ladies on stage, come to the 2 p.m. show. We do find we put on that matinee because just for that reason that people would like to come. We do find that the night shows are far more popular for some strange reason, but we like to offer a version that is covered as well.
Well, I see online at the booking agencies, tickets are almost gone, so people will need to book very, very quickly. Yeah, going out the door very quickly. My friend, I wish you well with this. It's going to be a great season with you, and look forward to seeing you on stage.
Thank you.
Take care.